Because mark my words, under a Labour government, Brexit is under threat. To respond now, my superstar panel. The political commentator Dominique Samuels, the former Tory London mayoral candidate Shaun Bailey, and the author and broadcaster Amy Nickell. Dominique, they're barely hiding it anymore.
I think this just goes to show that you can't trust Labour, especially when it comes to respecting democratic votes. The mandate for leaving the European Union has been and gone. The debate is over. And I think what certain people can't
But not for them, it's not.
What certain people can't accept is, yes, of course, leaving the European Union is going to have an impact on our economy, but are we forgetting the global pandemic that has caused issues for every single country in the world effectively? They want to gloss over that. They want to make make nothing into something and try and rehash old wounds. And I think what they're seeking is division, because that's the only thing that
there's no Brexit in Australia, where I've just been, and it costs $11. That's about £5 to buy one lettuce at the moment. There's no Brexit there, so I completely agree with that point.
Something that you're all completely glossing over. The people no longer believe in Brexit. Currently, only 17%...
Oh, where's the proof of that, Amy?
17% of people currently are happy with the way the Brexit deal is going. We're losing billions. We have, for next year, the predicted growth...
So do you just propose overturning the referendum?
The only country that is underneath us is Russia, and...
Do you just propose overturning the referendum, though?
No. No, I don't. And also, I think...
So what, do you want a second referendum?
It's incredibly misleading when you're saying that rejoining the single market is undermining Brexit, because it's completely not. There are plenty of countries that are not in the EU, that are in the single market. Iceland, Norway...
It's not true. They're not in the single market. They have a special deal. Let's make this clear. There's some very important things happening there. There will be no deal for the single market. Let's go back to when David Cameron went to Europe and said, can we have a deal? And they sent him home with nothing, that's why we...
And they knew what was at stake at that point.
And that's why we had the referendum. So the idea that there'll be some kind of magic golden deal just because it's the Labour Party, simply not...
Shaun, you ran against Sadiq Khan to be London mayor. You lost, but you lost far more narrowly than anyone was expecting, and he is a failed mayor, we know that. Why do you think he is taking this position, which now puts him at odds publicly with Keir Starmer on Brexit? Is this his play to become Labour Party leader? I think
there's two things at play here. Firstly, he was on full Sadiq mode. He was in a very smug mode and firing from the hip.
Being interviewed by James O'Brien, so it's no surprise. They're pals, aren't they?
He was getting an easy ride. He started firing from the hip. Because what it did yesterday is made sure he can never be leader of the Labour Party. Because if he was to be leader of the Labour Party, everybody, particularly outside of London, who voted for Brexit would be horrified. They just wouldn't support him. It'd be just another reason for the rest of the country not to support him. But more importantly, he is constantly... Look, the important bit about me getting so close is that he had to go to the Lib Dems and the Greens and beg them for their votes. So now he's pandering to a London crowd. But I'd say two things. If you're Lib Dem or Green, vote Lib Dem or Green. Don't vote for Sadiq Khan. Vote for what you actually want. And I think he's treating the left-wing vote as if he owns it, and he's pursuing it in that way. But most importantly, it's a lack of respect. If you're the Mayor of London, you have to represent everyone. And when the public have spoken, you have to respond to that.
You've got to respect democracy.
I think you are completely right that, the Red Wall was lost down to the fact that there are a large proportion that overwhelmingly voted for Brexit in those seats. But that was then, and in hindsight...
Doesn't mean democracy can be reversed, Amy. Democracy is democracy.
Hold on. Let's take...
And there are 1.2 million people who voted for Brexit who regret voting for Brexit because of what's happened. This should be a vote winner because we need this. We need to help ourselves.
Our economy is in better condition than most of our European economies.
No, it isn't.
Because of our fundamentals, and that's a fact. But you know the real reason why people should stick to their Brexit guns? When the Remainers were trying to make you say, they told you that you're a woman and you were stupid. They told you you were black and that you were racist. They told you that you were emotional and you didn't know what you're doing. Even Sadiq Khan used the word self-harm. That would suggest that you're stupid for doing what you wanted to do. If a politician ever tells you you're wrong, do what you want to do, because that politician doesn't know how you do it.
And Dominique, look, I know things are against the Tory party at the moment, right? I support Boris Johnson, but even I can see that. But don't you think it's important that we start talking about some of these bigger picture issues now? Because if Keir Starmer is Prime Minister, regardless of what he says about respecting the Brexit vote now, he cannot be trusted on that front. He's got a front bencher who says she wants to rejoin the single market, and who knows what's going to happen in the future. She hasn't been sacked, Dominique. She hasn't been disciplined. We know what Labour actually want to do.
I understand that about Labour, but I think for Boris Johnson, if he wants to attain some sort of political capital, I think that he should probably listen to these concerns and actually start talking about how he's going to take advantage of Brexit in light of our economic circumstances. And I just don't think the government is doing that enough. Even with regards to the Bank of England and it being too slow to raise interest rates comparative to
let's not be embarrassed about Brexit.
Let's be proud of it.
Can you tell me if you're proud of Brexit?
The European Union isn't in a perfect position economically by any stretch. Their money printing, which obviously raises inflation rates, equates to 83%.
Of course. And by the way, Amy, I'll give you the final word, but let me just tell you, and this is a fact, the economic issues, the supply chain issues, which are taking place all around the world, in China, in Australia, in the US, they are down to 2 years of lockdown. There's nothing to do with Brexit.
I understand that, but they're 7%, we're 9%. Anyway, my last word is I want you each to say one benefit of Brexit.
I'll tell you straight away. I'll give you three.
That don't count.
I'll give you three. We're in charge of our own borders. We're in charge of our own laws.
Well, that's working out.
Since Brexit, the Secretary for Trade has signed 62 bilateral trade deals, and that's the last time I checked. That's the benefit of Brexit.
Can you tell me something that will affect me? Because I know that Brexit, on average, will cost you £3,000 a year. Each household, it will cost you £3,000 a year. Something that affects me. Tell me how I've benefited from Brexit.
I'll tell you how you benefit. All these things that people are telling you, as if
Sean's telling you.
Brexit.
Trade. I don't know.
Schooling you on Brexit.
No, we do Pokemon cards. Like, tell me something about me.
I'll tell you, right? All of these things they tell you about Brexit, they act like if we were inside the European Union, we'd be devoid of economy. These things happen to nations.
And I'll tell you what, Amy, your vote matters now. Your vote in the UK matters now because our laws are decided in Westminster, not in Brussels, by faceless EU bureaucrats who don't want what's best for this country.
And we get a blue pass.
Amy Nickell.
So.
Shaun Bailey.
Can't use it though, can we?
Dominique Samuels. Oh my goodness, I love my blue passport.